time in my life I had just had the baby, and I, I, I had no interest in going back to work whatsoever. None.
In the glamorous world of Hollywood, where beauty is currency and fame is fleeting, few stars ever burned as brightly, or as tragically, as Kim Basinger. At 71, her life reads like a Hollywood script gone wrong. A stunning Georgia beauty who conquered the fashion world, seduced the silver screen, and even won an Academy Award. Yet behind the dazzling smile and icy blonde allure was a woman haunted by crippling fears, destructive choices, and a series of heartbreaks that left her more isolated than ever. This is not just the story of a movie star. It's the devastating tale of how the Hollywood dream became Kim Basinger's personal nightmare. Kimala Ann Basinger was born on December 8, 1953, in Athens, Georgia. From the very beginning, she seemed destined to stand out. With porcelain skin, flowing blonde hair, and striking blue eyes, she had the look of a Hollywood star before she ever dreamed of becoming one. But what no one could see behind those delicate features was the paralyzing shyness that would haunt her for decades. As a child, Kim was so painfully shy that she could barely speak in front of strangers. Teachers recalled how she would freeze in class, unable to recite lines, her anxiety tightening around her like a vice. To cope, she often disappeared into her own world, retreating inward while the world outside only saw a quiet, beautiful little girl. But Kim's beauty didn't go unnoticed. By her teenage years, she was winning local beauty contests and modeling opportunities began knocking at her door. On the outside, she looked like a young woman with everything going for her. But inside, she was battling a silent war. Her shyness wasn't just a quirk. It was the early sign of a much deeper struggle with anxiety, one that would one day grow into full-blown agoraphobia. Her father, a World War II veteran and big band musician, and her mother, a swimmer and model, encouraged her dreams. But Hollywood is rarely kind to fragile souls, and Kim, though gifted with beauty, carried fragility in her heart. It was that fragility that fame would one day shatter. By the early 1970s, Kim Basinger's beauty had become impossible to ignore. She signed with the Ford modeling agency and quickly rose through the ranks, gracing the covers of top fashion magazines. In New York City, she was earning thousands of dollars a day, a fortune at the time, and living the glamorous life most young women could only dream of. But Kim hated it. The endless posing, the superficial conversations, the industry that reduced her to nothing more than a face and a body. It all chipped away at her soul. In interviews, she later confessed that modeling made her feel like a mannequin, a hollow shell with no voice. Behind the flawless photographs was a woman suffocating from her own silence.
No, I was extremely shy, and I actually found it very difficult to even be called on. I had trouble with this all my life, being called on to stand up and read out loud. It's a natural thing a student does, actually. So I was really shy. In fact, I know at the end of my senior year, I was in the Athens Junior Miss pageant, and I sang a song because I loved music, and I had a pretty good voice, and I sang Wouldn't It Be Lovely from My Fair Lady. And I remember it was in the school auditorium, the pageant was held, and I finished this song. Thank God I got through it. And I'd really done a wonderful job. And on a bet from my father bet me that I would still be alive at the end of the performance, that I would not die, because I was so scared to death to get out there and do that. And I remember, well, I think I have some of that faith and determination that it takes to see your dreams sort of come true, tenacity, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, it's been a struggle for me. It's been an incredible struggle for me, because we all are, this world, we all have our insecurities and our fears, and mine were very extreme at times, and especially to choose a profession like this, where I don't even like to look at myself on film.
In the mid-70s, desperate to break free, Kim made a bold move. She walked away from modeling at the height of her career and set her sights on Hollywood. At first, she struggled, taking small TV roles and even performing as a Bond girl in Never Say Never Again, 1983, opposite Sean Connery. That role made her a global sensation. Hollywood had found its new icy blonde bombshell, a woman compared to legends like Marilyn Monroe and Grace Kelly. Soon after, Kim reached superstardom with films like 9½ Weeks, where her sensual performance shocked audiences and made her a household name. But that role also cemented an image of her that she would spend years trying to escape. The fantasy woman, the sex symbol, the untouchable goddess. The irony was cruel. The more famous she became, the more trapped she felt. Hollywood adored her for her beauty, but few saw the fragile woman who still trembled with anxiety before every audition, who often needed hours to gather the courage just to step on set. And while the cameras captured Kim Basinger at her most glamorous, behind the scenes, her battles were only beginning. By the 1990s, Kim Basinger was not just a movie star, she was Hollywood royalty. But fame had come at a price she could no longer pay. Behind the glitz and red carpets, Kim's inner world was collapsing. Her lifelong battle with anxiety had grown into something far darker: agoraphobia, an extreme fear of leaving her home. For months at a time, she would lock herself away, unable to face the outside world. Simple tasks like shopping for groceries or walking into a crowded room became terrifying ordeals. For a woman adored by millions, Kim felt trapped in a prison of her own mind. Then came the financial disaster that shocked Hollywood. In 1989, at the height of her career, Kim purchased the small town of Brazelton, Georgia, 1,691 acres of land, for $20 million. Her dream was to turn it into a tourist attraction with film studios, but the plan quickly crumbled. The town was a failure and Kim was forced to declare bankruptcy. The headlines were merciless. An Academy Award-winning actress who once earned millions was now broke. Her financial troubles only worsened when she walked away from the controversial film Boxing Helena in 1993. The producers sued her for breach of contract, and Kim lost, owing them a staggering $8.1 million. For years, she fought appeals in court, but the damage to her reputation was done. Hollywood studios saw her as unreliable, difficult, and reckless with money. As if her public humiliation wasn't enough, Kim's private life became tabloid fodder. Her relationships were scrutinized, her choices mocked, and her once untouchable image. In 1990, Kim Basinger met Alec Baldwin on the set of The Marrying Man. At first, it seemed like destiny. Hollywood's golden blonde and one of its rising leading men, their chemistry was undeniable, both on and off screen. By 1993, they were married, and soon after they welcomed their daughter, Ireland. To the world, it looked like a fairy tale romance, but behind closed doors, the marriage was far from perfect. Friends and insiders described the relationship as fiery, passionate, and often explosive. Both Kim and Alec had strong personalities, and their love often teetered on the edge of obsession and volatility. Kim once admitted she was drawn to Alec's intensity, but that same intensity soon became unbearable. The shouting matches, the jealousy, the emotional turbulence, it all took a toll. For a woman already battling anxiety and insecurity, the constant conflict only deepened her fragility. In 2002, after nearly a decade of marriage, the couple's relationship imploded in one of Hollywood's ugliest divorces. What followed was even more brutal, a bitter custody battle over their daughter. The world was given a disturbing glimpse into the chaos when a voicemail from Alec Baldwin to young Ireland leaked in 2007. In it, he angrily berated his daughter, calling her a rude, thoughtless little pig. The recording went viral, splashed across headlines, and while Alec bore the brunt of the backlash, Kim was thrust back into the spotlight she had tried so hard to avoid. The divorce and custody war dragged on for years, leaving emotional scars that time could never fully heal. Kim, once celebrated as one of the most desirable women in the world, was now painted by tabloids as a fragile mother in a toxic Hollywood feud. The fairy tale had turned into a nightmare, one that left Kim Basinger more reclusive than ever, retreating further from Hollywood and the life she once dreamed of. After the divorce and years of financial ruin, Kim Basinger quietly stepped back from the spotlight. The once glittering star of Hollywood, who had walked red carpets and posed for flashing cameras, began living in near reclusion. For someone who had struggled with crippling anxiety since childhood, the silence was both a refuge and a prison. She rarely accepted roles, appearing only in the occasional film like L.A. Confidential, which earned her an Academy Award in 1998, and later 50 Shades Darker. But gone were the days when Kim Basinger was the industry's leading lady. Offers dwindled and she chose privacy over fame. Friends and those close to her describe her as someone who never truly escaped her own fears. Even in her 60s, Kim admitted that her battle with agoraphobia still lingered, keeping her from living freely. She spoke candidly in rare interviews about the terror of simple everyday tasks: going outside, driving, meeting strangers. To most, these were mundane acts. To Kim, they were mountains she often couldn't climb. Now, at 71, she lives a life far removed from the Hollywood spotlight. She spends most of her time in Los Angeles, focused on family, her animals, and the quiet comfort of staying out of the public eye. Her daughter, Ireland Baldwin, has grown into a model and actress in her own right, but even their relationship has carried the scars of Kim's tumultuous past. Once hailed as one of the most beautiful women in the world, Kim Basinger's story is not one of Hollywood triumph, but of survival. A star who had it all: beauty, fame, wealth, and talent, but lost so much to fear, betrayal, and the crushing weight of fame. Kim Basinger's life is proof that Hollywood's golden glow often hides the deepest shadows. She was the woman every director wanted, every magazine adored, every man dreamed of, yet none of that protected her from heartbreak, fear, and loss. From a shy little girl in Georgia, to a supermodel, to an Oscar-winning actress, Kim's rise was meteoric, but her fall was equally dramatic. Bankruptcy, broken marriages, relentless anxiety, and a retreat from the world she once conquered. At 71, Kim lives quietly, away from the red carpets and flashing cameras, her story serving as both inspiration and warning. For some, she will always be the goddess of 9.5 weeks or the radiant beauty of Batman. But behind those unforgettable roles is a woman who fought battles most never saw, and who carries scars no fame could ever heal. In the end, Kim Basinger's tragedy is not that she was forgotten by Hollywood, but that she never truly found peace within herself, even at the height of her fame. Her story is a haunting reminder. In Hollywood, beauty fades, fame vanishes, but the pain behind the curtain often lingers forever. If you found Kim Basinger's story as powerful and heartbreaking as we did, please subscribe and support our channel, Vintage Spotlight, where we bring you the untold truths of Hollywood's brightest stars and their darkest tragedies. That was today's story under the silent spotlight. If you enjoyed uncovering Hollywood's forgotten past, leave a like and subscribe for more vintage tragedies, mysteries, and untold legends. Until next time, keep the reel turning.